In order to be confident, you do not need to transform into this woman who has it all figured it out and knows it all. In fact, all you need to do is trust the process and follow along the following tips. Hi, and welcome. I'm Catherine Louise. I'm a business and mindset mentor and founder of the coaching method, the Esteem method, and I help women become their best self and live a happy and successful life. So if that sounds like something you want to do, you should definitely stick around. Before we're starting with the very first step, I do want to clarify that at some stage in your life, you most probably have been confident before. Most probably as a little child, as a little kid, those little human beings know a thing or two about confidence, and maybe then something in your childhood or in your teenage years has happened that has changed it, maybe even traumatized you, or maybe it was some time further along in your career, in your job, that something has happened that has embarrassed you so much and therefore resulted in that lack of confidence. But here comes the good news. You are absolutely capable of gaining that confidence back. And today I'm going to walk you through the process. And believe me, your life will not be the same. Step number one is know and own who you are. And yes, I absolutely mean it. And even if that sounds like a strange concept to you right now, I want you to sit down and really write down all of your skills. What are you really good at? And please write also down the things you really feeling insecure about and be like, no, that's not like, is that really a skill? Yes, it is. To somebody, that definitely is a very valuable skill. So I want you to write all of that down and really ask yourself, what is your zone of genius? What are you really good at? What is it that when you do that thing, you forget time and space and just every little thing around you? That is your zone of genius. The question really is, what do you bring to the table? What is your value in this life? When you do the thing that you love, when you operate and live within your zone of genius, not only will you feel really, really good about yourself and about your life and about the things that you're accomplished, but as a consequence, automatically you will feel confident. Let me share an example with you. If you are currently stuck in a job situation, in a career that you're not particularly happy about, but maybe it is expected of you to have that conventional job or career by your family and friends, this is just how life goes, right? But it really is daunting to you. It really doesn't make you happy. Oftentimes, when we are forced or trapped into a situation that does not fulfill us and bring the best out of us, we do experience that lack in confidence. That is just because of the fact when you do something every single day you're not particularly thriving in, it will have an effect on your confidence. And this would have to be the point where I would really love to support you in going after what you love, even if it is not that conventional job. Believe me, when you love it, you're gonna find a way to make that thing work, to pay your bills with your zone of genius. You're gonna find it out and you deserve it. Remember, this is your life and your life only. By the way, a quote that I've heard a while ago and really stuck with me because I feel like this quote really represents everything how I'm feeling, which is a career that you truly love and fulfills you is really, really hard to come by. And that's the truth. When you're fulfilled within whatever you do, whatever life is going to throw at you, you have that thing for yourself. Truth bomb number two. In order to be confident, you do not have to be loud or be on that stage or be the center of attention in your office or at the parties or wherever. I think a lot of women mistaking those shiny, glamorous females who are always the center of attention for being confident, when in truth, you would, by the way, be surprised how many high-profile women are in fact struggling with confidence. And just remember, it doesn't always is like what it seems like. You know what I mean? But obviously, if that's what you're wanting, if you would actually love to be the center of attention, if you would actually love to get on that stage, go for it. You're going to figure this out. Just trust yourself and go for it. But what I'm saying is, you do not need to be that extrovert in order to be confident. Just look at me. I'm not particularly an extrovert. I am not also so much an introvert. I've figured out in the past couple of years that it really is about the people I'm surrounding myself with. However, I do have a YouTube channel. I'm really pursuing my speaking career, and all of that is still when I'm not really particularly fond of being the center of attention. But the thing that is driving me is really inspiring you and being able to help women out there. And that is the thing that inspires me to do all of that. What confidence truly, truly is, and I think it is so important to clarify that, to not mistake that for anything else. Being confident means feeling sure of yourself and your abilities, feeling secure within your own being. And that comes in a trillion billion different ways and colors. So what is yours? By the way, if you've been loving this one so far, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel or podcast, because if you've been loving this, you're gonna love all of the rest that's coming at you. The next point is embarrassing situations. Oh, Lord knows we have all been there, right? Something happening that has been really embarrassing to us, and even worse when all eyes are on us, maybe in public, in the office, wherever. And I want to give you an example of my own life with my children. If you are a parent, that may sound familiar to you. When my precious little boys were still very, very small, I believe they were like 1 and 3 years old, we were at IKEA. And obviously, IKEA, I mean, I don't want to do any kind of advertisement over here, but they also do have a restaurants, and small children tend to get hungry every 2 seconds or so. So obviously, we hit the restaurant. And then when we were grabbing our things, my little sweet boy dropped his apple juice on the floor. Needless to say, that restaurant was crowded and stuff, and all of the eyes were on us. And I already saw my son was so nervous, like he was dying inside. He just wanted to leave that situation, and he didn't know what to do. As I know my little baby, and obviously figured that right away, I realized I just needed to stay extra calm and have him focus on wiping the juice away with me. I ignored all of the people around us, all of them, because who would? I don't even know you, right? So my little baby and I wiped away the juice, and as I was focusing on him and the situation and didn't pay attention to any of the people around us, he was able to catch up on that and actually was fine afterwards. Remember, whenever something embarrassing happens to you, first of all, it's not as if nobody else on this planet would have ever dropped juice or whatever the situation is before, right? Let's be realistic about it. And if there is ever a person not being empathic enough to understand that and maybe acting in a way that makes the embarrassment even more worse, remember, people are always mirroring back themselves and their insecurities, so don't even think this one is about you. There is a pretty famous quote here in Germany, in Hamburg to be exact, where they have like a huge harbor and a tremendously big fish market and everything. And I'm not quite sure how exactly the quote goes, but it goes something along the line of, don't even worry whatever has happened today. Tomorrow, the fish is going to be wrapped up in that paper and nobody will even care. The following point is so crucial, specifically if you identify as an empath, because as an empath, you pick up other people's emotions and opinions so quickly and easily, and it is very, very difficult then to diversify which one is yours, which one is theirs to begin with. And the point of all of that is, do not allow any other person I don't care who, but any other person to bring you down. If somebody is coming up to you and trying to make you believe what is not in fact true for you, and I don't care if we talk about opinions or facts, maybe even somebody is trying to subconsciously gaslighting you. If you know for a fact that this is not your truth, stand by it. And I know this is so difficult, especially if that is a person you really respect and love, but you are still allowed to own your truth. Let's say, for instance, somebody would come up to me and be like, "Hey, Judy," like, "What? I'm not Judy. I'm Catherine." And I know that to be a fact and my truth, right? So right now you'd be like, "Yeah, well, that's your name, obviously." But just as obvious as my name is not Judy, like, I love the name Judy, but I'm not Judy, right? Just as much should it be obvious to you to stand by your truth and hold that power. I think one of the most important things to understand is that the people in your life or outside only hold as much power as you give them to. The next point, and I know this is a biggie, I believe, especially for us women, and I'm going to name you an example just in a minute because I think it is just so true and at the same time hilarious if you just think about it. But you do not need to have it all figured out just in order to be confident. I was in a meeting the other day, and that was about women as board members or chairman. And as we were discussing that, one of the women was like, "Okay, is there a course I can do in order to prepare that?" And while most of the women were like, "Oh, yeah, is there a course?" The woman who was actually holding that meeting was like, "You know what? And this is what most women do. If a male person was asked to be a board member, he wouldn't even think about if he was prepared enough or, his career would look good enough or whatever. He would just celebrate himself and scream it out and be like, yes, of course I want to do that. Us women, even if we were invited, even if we were asked, we would second guess and be like, "Oh, are you sure you're not mistaken? Is there any course I can do in order to, be prepared actually for this role?" And I think this is such a beautiful example. And obviously, that doesn't go for all males on this planet or females. But what I'm saying is, as women, we oftentimes believe we would need to be extra skilled, extra prepared, right? Whereas men just jump into the scene. And I would actually love to encourage you to do the same because the harsh truth is, guess what? You will learn along the way. You will learn the skills. You will figure it out as you go. And that very much so is a thing you can be confident about. If you in a situation like that really feel insecure about yourself, or maybe something in the past has happened in your private life, in your career, where you're really scared, like, you could mess the thing up again, quote unquote, okay? Because really, from experiences of failing or mistaking or whatever, it is so important to understand that you take the lessons of that situation with you in the future, but the rest of it you leave in the past. You are only that woman that you are today because of the stuff that has happened in the past. But remember to leave the guilt and the shame and the embarrassment all in the past because that's where it really belongs. I would actually love to know, what skill are you particularly proud of? Please put it in the comments down below so we can all celebrate your skills. For the next one, I cannot take any credit for it because Riri said it, you better believe. Yes, Rihanna said that. And actually, there are quite a couple of, I believe, YouTube videos you can look up where she's saying that because that woman said, "Fake it until you make it." And she couldn't be any more true. If you haven't been particularly confident up until this moment, and I'm saying up until this moment because we are about to change that right now, my dear, and I mean it. So what you want to do, first of all, and this is a very first action step you have to take in order to become confident, is Make the decision. There is no course you can do on being confident, or probably there are. But what this process is actually going to kick off is you making the decision. This is where it's all starting. And then, second, you want to pretend. Yes. Fake it until you make it. Play pretend. Act as if. Because, as I said before, you do not need to have it all figured out in order to become confident. What you need, in fact, is the decision that this is what you're wanting. When you start just really pretending being confident, it will feel fake at first. And this is probably why Rihanna said, fake it until you make it. Because what happens as you continue to act as if, to play pretend, is day by day, it will be more easy to play confidence. Day by day, it will become more natural for you to actually show up as her, to actually be that version of yourself that is so confident. Like with everything else in life, when you're learning something new, you will have to exercise. You will have to practice, preferably every single day. And that is the same that goes for the process of becoming confident, right? Doesn't that make sense? So as you go along, as you play pretend, as you fake it until you make it, you will naturally adapt this confidence every single day, day by day. I remember very, very vividly a situation that is just the most perfect example. Like really many years back when I still used to have my old YouTube channel. And mind you, I started 2014. So like really, really back then. I was vlogging downtown because I needed some footage. And back then, mind you, nobody knew a thing about YouTube. And actually walking through the streets, holding a camera in your hand, filming yourself, that like was weird. Like it was really, really weird. And people made comments, specifically older people who probably didn't know then what YouTube is. And boy, believe me, I would have loved to just disappear. But, and I still to this day believe that was one of the most valuable lessons for myself when it comes to being in front of a camera and being in this public eye. I knew I really wanted to have that footage. I needed it for a video. And giving up or giving in because some people who just didn't know better, remember mirroring themselves back, would I just give up on them because of them? How is this supporting me in my dream? How's this helping me? Not at all. So I decided to ignore those people and just go ahead and do it anyways. And guess what? I survived it. I'm here. And it actually was, as I said, one of the most important lessons in my life. The last point, and I believe this really is the harsh truth, and I want you to let that sentence sink in for a little and think about it. Because here's the thing. You cannot be liked by everybody. And I believe not showing up for ourselves and not being confident or maybe even hiding behind that is for most of us, not all of us, but most of us in huge part because of that fear of not being liked. But again, the harsh truth is you are not going to be liked by everybody. And once you have understood that it doesn't matter what you do, how much you're trying or pretending to be a person that you really aren't, or just hiding behind a counter, that's not going to change anything. Not every person on this planet is going to like you, so you, my dear, might as well be who you are. Own it, embrace it, and love it. Once I've come to understand that, I believe there was such a huge freedom coming with that. And also because I understood, and actually that's a pretty big gift, right? When you are who you truly are, you are automatically going to attract the people in your life who love you for who you are. And what for do you need people who love that person to begin with? And another thing, just to be really honest and really fair, do you love every person on this planet? Like in your life, at work, no matter where you are? Or do you love every politician? I'm just saying. Probably not. So the belief that everybody will need to love us is just false. Just remember to even treat those people you don't necessarily like with respect, because at the end of the day, that's what makes the biggest difference among us people. So, my dear, if any of it, be yourself, own it, love who you are, you deserve that. And I bet if you're looking at that list of your skills and just follow along all of the steps I've just been sharing with you, you will be very confident about yourself and about your life. Thank you so much for watching or listening to this episode. Don't forget to download my freebie, which actually is such an amazing journal called Set Your Day Up for Success. So if you need a little bit of help, a little bit of inspiration, make sure to download it right now. It's free, and I will talk to you next time.